except in some special cases, and we'll get to those. The willpower number is actually just that. It is a location's willpower. So by that, locations can be challenged by your opponent in the same way that characters can be challenged.
Oh, okay. So you can get rid
They
of the
exert a character,
locations.
they challenge the location. Locations don't have any strength, so they don't fight back.
Okay.
But they'll take damage counters, and if they have damage counters equal to or greater than their willpower, they will also be banished.
That's interesting.
And then finally, that lore symbol that a lot of people have been wondering about, because it's slightly different than a normal lore symbol. That is because those symbols mean that at the start of your turn, during that set part of your turn, in the ready, set, draw step, you gain lore equal to all of those lore counters on your locations. And there are going to be various locations, and what they do, you'll just have to wait and see. It's pretty exciting.
So essentially, the way you're explaining it is that with a location, they enter play.
You're gonna have to challenge a lot of.
Exerted.
There's a damn. There's gonna be a day stream. Yeah, I'm on right now because there's a big Q&A. So
it's almost
with Lorcana,
like they're not questing, but it's almost like they're questing every turn like a character.
With Lorcana, they've never had locations cards, and now they announced that there will be location
some of the questions
cards.
rolling in. Can you move them completely out of a location? When you move to a different location, you're completely gone from the first location. If the location you're at is banished, then you just kind of fall off of that location.
Only certain cards, it feels like, might be able to go to location.
So
yeah,
you are there.
It's a really interesting mechanic.
Bodyguards protect locations. Actually, if you read bodyguards carefully, it does say if one of your characters would be challenged. And that was very specific wording chosen for this aspect. Bodyguard does not protect locations.
Okay.
They are fair game if they are in play.
That would be pretty broken. It would just be
like, location is banished, are the characters also banished? No. If a location gets banished, all of the characters that were there just fall off. There's nothing that happens to them negatively.
Okay. So then they just go back in.
Can Rapunzel heal a location? I believe Rapunzel specifically says that she needs to remove damage counters from a character. And so we are...
Got it.
There are very specific wording for if it can heal a location, if it can heal a character, or if it can do either.
Okay. Super cool.
And I think
this mechanic is actually really interesting.
Jessica, who's trying to make sure all of these come in.
It's going to change the meta a lot.
Does a character need to be at the location in order to gain lore? The answer is no. If I have Forbidden Mountain in play, even if I don't have a character there, at the start of my turn, I'm going to gain that one lore.
Damn.
And that's what can make these locations really powerful.
Have any luck with the Trove D100 set? I got a D100 set today, actually.
You will continue to gain that
I did
lore
get a D100 set today. GameStop. If you have a GameStop around you that got stocked in, mine had a lot. There was like 8.
Some locations might provide
and no one was in line or anything. One of them I went to.
There's reasons for us to have locations that have a move cost
it was
there
wide open. So I was able to get 8 boosters. Or blisters, and
that kind of goes to the next question.
Got 2 D100s.
Would it be good to have a character?
No troves though. Unfortunately, no troves.
Doesn't have any abilities on it beyond gaining a lore, but a character like Peter Pan, who's just there for the stories, when he moves there, he's going to gain lore equal to that location. So it's good for him to move to that location and gain that extra lore, even if it doesn't provide any additional abilities for him. Do locations ready at the start of your turn? No. Locations don't need to exert.
Okay, so this is the Peter Pan card they're talking. Once per turn, when the character moves to location, gain the lore equal to that.
There is no other condition for him.
This is going to change the meta a lot. This is going to be a huge meta shift.
And I apologize if I'm going through all this so quickly, but I'm happy to hear or answer questions about it. I am super excited about locations and what they bring to the table and the differences that they can
alerts not working? I'm so sorry alerts aren't working. I have to check out why alerts aren't working. Thank you so much for the resub, dude.
I did see a question that was, can you move a
Have not seen a single product. I'm sorry. I live in Vegas, so Vegas got stocked pretty well.
In order to move to locations.
Why does that fucking alert not go off?
You just have to pay the additional move cost to move them there.
Let me figure out what's going on.
You can't play the character to the location to start with. You can put them into play, and pay the move
I've
cost
been
to move
pretty
in there.
lucky, Bigfootin, with in Vegas. We have a lot of boosters in stock at Best Buy, and I'm able to check online with Best
Is
Buy
moving
system.
from a location take up character's action for a turn? So the action for a turn is a little misleading.
Okay.
Characters aren't limited to one action per turn or anything like that. It doesn't take up any sort of action. It doesn't mean that they've gone on a quest. It doesn't mean that they've challenged or anything like that. It doesn't even exert them. So when you get to the location, you're still able to go on quests or
Whoa.
challenge opposing characters or their locations, or anything like that.
Oh my god. It's locations are going
There
to
is
change
also
the
no
whole meta.
limit to
But
the
yeah, big
number
fun.
of characters that can
So
be
I've
at
got
a
quite a
single
few
location.
boosters, and
So
then
you can
I do have a
take them all there if you'd
D100
like.
that I've got. No
Are
other
locations
sets though.
protected from
I
being
was
repaired?
also at PAX, so I was
Yes.
able to get
Locations are
booster
not
box.
characters, and
So
so when
I've
a
got
card
some of the booster box.
specifies character,
At least at
then
MSRP.
it won't be able to affect the location.
So supply's been pretty. I've been pretty blessed with supply. A couple of
There
card
was a
shops in
question
my
about how do
area
locations
have
contribute to
gotten
the overall
more
narrative of the
boosters,
story.
but
We don't
they're
want to
obviously
go too
charging
deep
card
into
shop
all of that
prices,
right
and
now.
so
I will
I've just
say,
been buying
looking at set
individual
2's story,
boosters and stacking
what I
those
can
up.
share, you saw at the end of the trailer that our Illumineers, so Shanze, Martin, and Venturo, they looked out at the world, or the realm of Lorcana, with the flood kind of going out into the world and sort of affecting it. And they're going out into the Inklands, the name of the title, to try and get all those things back that were gone from the Illuminary. So us as players also, it's to venture out into the Inklands.
That's cool. The
Yep.
story component to it. That's cool.
Let's see. Do locations do anything for characters that don't have specific card text interactions? Some locations may have abilities for any character. Some characters may have abilities for any location. We're just gonna have to wait and see what comes out. Can opponents move to your location? That's a great question, but no, the opponents cannot move to your location. They don't gain the benefits of it. Your locations are your own.
Makes sense. It'd be pretty broken if they could just move to.
Do locations protect characters? No, they do not.
Dang.
Your
It's just a
characters are
bonus
at the
lore.
location, and
It's
if they
honestly
are
it's a move
exerted, they
to it's
can
a
be
move to
challenged.
make the game move faster.
Just as
I feel
normal.
like that's what I feel like that's what it's gonna do.
The locations may provide some benefits.
Is locations are gonna make it move faster.
So I did see some people asking for if we can see more cards for Into the Inklands today. We did share 4 cards this week. We don't want to kind of go overboard right away.
That's fine.
So we're gonna leave you with that for now. Like when
we're done
the
with
cards,
this, if you haven't
not
seen the
that we're
cards, I can show you
closing
guys
this
the
right
cards.
But part of the reason
Also,
of
can I
wanting
get
to
one
share
now?
this today is so that a lot of the cards in Into the Inklands actually reference
So this is the location card
mechanic,
that they're talking about.
where as we
This is the
start
other card that
revealing
they've
more
shared,
cards,
Piglet.
when those cards are referencing locations,
This is
we wanted
the
to make
Peter
sure that
Pan
you
card
guys
we
have
looked
a
at,
basic understanding,
which again
so you,
brings up the
you know when
location.
you see those cards what to expect.
While this character's at location, she gets +2.
All right, moving on to
So,
some other questions here.
you can
We've
see
got,
how
is there a
crucial
ward mechanic to protect locations?
Locations are going
I
to be.
can't talk about future cards yet, so as
This
Rochelle
is going
was
to
just
be
pointing out,
massive.
so
Locations
we'll
are going
have
to
to
change
wait
the whole
on
meta, though.
what cards there
Change
will
the
be.
whole meta. Change the
Will
whole
locations
meta.
provide static abilities to characters not at the location? Again,
Which is good and bad.
This is one of those things where we'll have to wait and see.
Because here's the bad part.
Can a character challenge or quest
It's going to make
after
you
they
buy
move
more cards
to or from
and
a
the set.
location?
And if the set runs
The answer
into
to that is
supply
yes.
issues,
Again, moving to a location.
granted, it looks like locations
doesn't
are
require
common.
anything from
It's
the
still,
character,
it's gonna
so,
mean it means spending more money.
It doesn't prevent them from questing. It doesn't prevent them from challenging. So that works just fine. Can they move to a location if they haven't dried? Yes, they can. We went over that. When you play the character, you still have to pay the move cost from the location, and that works just fine. Characters can move back and forth between locations.
Dude, locations, yeah,
Each player
this
can
meta
have
is going
locations.
to change the
It's
meta.
totally fine.
The
There's
whole
no
meta's
limit, just like characters.
upper.
They are. The locations are also glimmers as well. So you are creating these things. There's no legendary sort of rules where you're limited. For signifying that a character is at location, the best way to do this is to actually put the location out front, and then put the character right underneath that location, and that works really well for that. And you can have 4 copies of the same location out at the same time. Locations also follow the same deck construction rules, so no more than 4 of any given name plus version name. Will locations be a new regular aspect of set design, or is this more tied to Into the Alien Clans? So that is a bit of a future question. There are plans for locations to be around for a little while, because they are such a iconic part of Disney that we want to make sure that that is something that we'll be able to present to people. So Set 3 is not going to be the only place that we see locations. Let's see. Can you give an example of what a location ability might be? I could, but I'm not allowed to. So I will have to wait on that until
it is always tough with Q&As like this, because
be able to chat about it again.
Obviously, people are going to want more.
And if
but
he starts to, I remove him from the stage.
Yeah. There is also that problem. Will there be original locations? Again, that goes into the future of cards, and so I can't really speak to it because I like my safety and surviving. Rochelle's in a totally different building, I think, and I can still feel the glare. And then one of the nice things about the locations is it's going to be able to provide a new way to build your decks, and new conditions. Like, you can build better theme decks, you can build different tournament quality decks. You'll want to be able to deal with locations in some ways. You want to be able to interact with the locations that you have. So there'll be a lot of fun. And they also add a pretty neat aspect to the limited play environments that we do have. Locations are considered in play. And we've answered how you indicate a card is at a location, but simply putting the card right underneath that location is the easiest way to indicate that it's at that location. And you can, because it's horizontal, you can actually line up a number of characters pretty easily.
Yeah, location. This is going to change the whole
a question
meta.
About why we made locations horizontal artwork, and that's because we were able to get a bit more of the artwork in there. We wanted to easily identify them as sort of exerted, not quite in the same sense, but able to be challenged, so that it was just more clear. A lot of it is to simplify the interactions between your opponent and your locations. Feels like we're slowing down on some of the questions. Did we answer them all? Is it all fixed?
There were 2 that I think stood out that I saw real quick. Does a reckless character have to challenge a location if there are no characters in play for them to challenge?
So reckless does not specify that it needs to challenge a character. It just specifies that it needs to challenge.
And then the other... Oh, sorry.
So the short answer is yes. It must challenge if it can. Doesn't matter if it's a character or a location.
And then, can you move to a location that you're already at?
No. If you're at a location, you cannot move to the same location. You need another location to move back and forth, or you would need the location that you're currently at to be banished and then play a new one so that you can move to that one.
That makes sense.
And of
also,
course,
oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I was going to say that there's who knows what sort of effects will be out there. So there's a lot of things that are a little more challenging to go into until we get more cards.
Yeah.
This set, by the way, comes out in March. Let me see the release date. Release date of Lorcana.
Since a lot of people have joined after we already started, if you could one more time go over
February, so it's going to hit hobby shops, so it's going to hit card shops February 23rd,
I don't know.
and big box retailers it will be March 8th.
So
meaning it's going to be really expensive if you want the first couple. It's going to be really expensive if you want it on the 23rd. Otherwise, mass retailers March 8th. And if you don't know, that means Walmarts and Targets
can be inked and not.
Potentially are going to get them earlier.
On the left-hand side, when they're on the board,
between there
is what is called a move cost, and that is the cost it takes in ink in order to move that character to that location. On the right-hand side is their willpower. That is how many damage counters they can take before they are banished. And because they are already sideways, any character can challenge them. Any opposing character, I should say, can challenge them. And locations have lore, and the way that works is during the set step of your turn on the ready, set, draw step of your turn, you gain lore equal to the number of lore icons on all of your locations. And then some locations will have abilities, and some characters will have abilities.
We're listening to a big Q&A right now for Lorcana. If you guys don't know what Lorcana is, it is a Disney card collecting game similar to Magic the Gathering. There are a lot of collectors, as you can imagine, because it is Disney.
I think we've seen a lot of repeat questions.
It is Disney. This is a deck that we've got. We've opened a few booster boxes. We've done a lot of stuff on stream with it. There'll be a lot more of this content coming.
If anyone has any questions about current Rise of the Floodborn,
so the art is all original art, and it's all based off of elements and things in the Disney world.
Your questions for
so
the current cards right now.
Stampede. Yes, that is the Stampede from Lion King. The Stolen Scimitar. Yes, Aladdin. So all the cards, speaking of Aladdin, here's Aladdin. So all of the cards are based off of that. You have Pongo. So one, there's a full-fledged game with tournaments and all that stuff. On top of that, there is Disney collectors. Because this is original art, there is also scarcity because there are rare cards that you can get, just like Magic the Gathering. So
cards are errata. This is a topic that's come up a fair bit of time. We will use errata when the card was worded incorrectly. We don't plan to use it in order to change something thoroughly, because I never want to have someone play a card and be told that's not how it works, because that just causes confusion and nobody really enjoys that.
Once this is done, I'm going to show you the gift set that I got for these cards.
But we'll have to take it from a case-to-case basis. So I can't make any promises one way or the other.
One thing I do want to say, there's a bunch of questions here about organized play, tournaments, etc. We do need to keep these questions about the cards. So we will have more information about competitive tournaments, updates for organized play that will be coming early next year, but for now, please make sure to keep the questions for Steve to the cards and the gameplay itself.
Let's see. Biggest challenge in creating card art for the unique Floodborn characters. I don't create the art, so it is not a challenge at all for me.
That's kind of funny. And again, this is an open Q&A, so we're going to get to that. Dig in a new name. I think it's more concise.
A lot of really talented artists.
I didn't even talk about that.
So I am thankfully spared from that, and you are thankfully spared from my artwork, which would be terrible.
A potential overlay and some of the revamp with the rebrand that I'm doing. I got this made.
Let's see.
I
do card
used
effects
a
like 0 to
service.
hero that reduce costs
Called Dale3,
also count for shifting.
aka ChatGPT
Reminder, they
made
don't
this,
reduce the cost, they just reduce the
and then
amount
I
of ink that
edited
you have
it
to
a
pay.
bunch.
That is a very
But
important
I've
distinction.
talking to an
But yes, you
animator
can
to
use
get
zero
this
to hero
thing
to reduce
like
the cost of
jamming.
shifting. Sorry, not reduce. To pay less for shifting
I'm
a
gonna show you
character.
this though. You know what? We could just do a display capture just to show you this really quick.
Can I play Go the Distance without having a damaged character to get the card draw? The answer is yes.
Actually, can
And
I just do
I know
this?
that this leads to a lot of discussion with a lot of people
That's
on
not opening. Okay.
can I play a card and not get its effect?
Display
Can I play
capture.
Dragonfire and not actually banish anything?
I'll put main monitor.
You do as much as you can when you play it. Unlike some games, we don't
little
have
teaser.
sort of a
This is
chosen
the
before
overlay
you
that
play
I'm
it
working
sort of
on.
mechanic. So
This main
you
one
can
will have
play
the
it in
main
order
image.
to trigger other
Actually, here,
effects
fuck it.
and
I'll just show you.
do those things
This is what
even
I've been
if
working
you
on.
don't have a character that you could choose normally. Now, I understand that this is probably one of the larger confusion points for people because
Why is
a
chat
lot of
not
games
showing
don't
up?
play it this way. Ryan and I discussed this at length back when we were designing the game.
Why did that
and
not show
it
up? Chat should be showing up
felt
there.
more correct for
I'm gonna have
us
to figure out why chat's
to
not showing
allow
up. It was
for
showing
it
up when I was testing it.
because we had so many different
new overlay coming
interactions
potentially.
and intricacies in various
Get it.
aspects.
I'm talking to
that
an animator.
allowing people to play
animate
something
some
and
of
getting
it.
no benefit for it
So like
was
the
just a
color
choice that
bars
they could make.
will like rotate. Basically you will have
Lots of questions.
the Riot one will be on the bottom left when I play Riot or any game. So like Tarkov can be on the bottom left.
If Mufasa
And
is
then the
banished
upper
on my
TV
opponent's turn
monitor
and I
will
have
have
wait set in play,
music
can I draw a
videos.
card
How we
from
usually
wait
play
set's
like a music
ability?
video, or if there's like a YouTube video we're watching,
Make
it'll be in
sure
there. So the rebrand is happening. Slowly, surely, and steady.
the wait set does not
it is
limit
happening.
you to play like when you play a character on your turn. So, and Mufasa does play that character. So because of that, you actually do get to draw a card, but you'd have to pay 1 ink. So one of the rare times that you would actually have a cost on an opponent's turn.
Oh, that's interesting.
Would Mother Gothel, Withered and Wicked, Triggered Beast, Selfless Protector? She does not. She comes in to play with those counters on her, so she's not being damaged. So Beast does not see it and redirect the damage counters to himself. Can you please clarify the ready step and if you ready all cards or only exerted cards? So only exerted cards will count as being readied. Just like I could choose a card that is already exerted by a card that says exert chosen character.
Music will be 24/7 Tay-Tay vids. It's
it
not
doesn't
always Tay-Tay vids.
change the impact of that card, so
it varies.
I don't get the benefits.
Actually, we've been watching a lot of the
say Christopher Robin
Staking
when you
It.
ready this
Artist
game
of
2
the
lore if you
Century,
have
so why not?
2 or other characters in play.
Century? For
Unless
you,
he
it's
was already
lifetime.
exerted. So he's
Past,
not counted
present, and
as being
future.
readied if
Artist
it's a ready
of the
step
world.
and he is already ready.
Artist of the galaxy.
I think
You haven't
that's what
even
the
been in
question's
the
going
galaxy
for.
and you'd call that. Don't give us
What is the
century.
interaction between Prince John and a whole new world? Do I draw 14 cards? Well, if your opponent discarded 7 cards, then yes, you fully resolve whole new world. And whatever the cards are that your opponent discarded, Prince John will
Damn,
resolve
that's a broken ass
afterwards and
combo right there.
draw cards.
Draw 14 cards? Oh my gosh. Broken. It's a broken meta right there. There's a lot of meta
there's a
broken
question
shit
about
in this
how do
card
other
game now.
decks deal with
Which will be
items.
interesting how they solve it
Just in
long
general,
term. I think there's some broken ass
colors that
meta.
deal with items.
There's definitely some things are I think a little overtuned.
There, but
And there's
some colors
because
just don't.
competitive play isn't really like been fully
It's-
fleshed out yet. There's not an official ban
It's
list
one
yet.
of the
Say Lorcana, did you get the? I
challenges
did.
for certain
I'll show you guys.
colors
I'll go
to-
grab the box
to
for
deal
it
with.
once
So,
once the Q&A is
the
done.
colors that you may
Just in case I miss something.
be playing may not have a way to deal with items, and you might need to find another avenue of interacting with them or getting past what might be a problem. Now, that's not to say that there won't be options in the future, but currently, right now, only Sapphire and Steel deal with items. If you're really worried about items, then I suggest one of those as your secondary color.
Okay, that's easy. Which is why I played Tay Tay to draw her out. I mean, it's a solid strat. It probably works more times than it doesn't.
I've gone over the Queen commanding presence a little bit in the Discord channel. The big question with her is, can I use her ability if my opponent has no characters in play? And there is a distinction, and I do apologize on this ground, is that it's very subtle, and we should have made it a lot more clear. But because her ability is an and statement,
Statement.
it says that you give a chosen opposing character -4 strength, and you give one of your characters, or give any character, a +4 strength. So because of that, and both statements need to be true in order for it to work. And I know that this sounds like it's going against the do as much as you can, but that and clause is what is changing that as an effect. And again, I apologize. We will be more cautious in the future about wording it so that
Wait,
confusion
chat's not showing up.
just doesn't happen.
Wait, is Streamlabs broken?
What is
for
your
anyone
favorite
else?
strategy highlighted in set 2? Well, I mean, I still love the Musketeers, but they didn't get anything in set 2 in addition to more bodyguards. But, I mean, the Merlin Mim challenge is a lot of fun because of what you can do with it and how it can go into a lot of different decks to do a lot of different things. So that's really exciting. Songs are also very exciting here. But I think for me, something like the weight set is actually one of the things that I really enjoy. Just I like bigger
Lord Box is
characters,
saying.
so it's always fun.
I have the tab open 24/7, but Tay Tay and Seraphine are the bat signals.
Okay, that is the end of our time. Thanks for joining us for the past half hour. I hope that did clear up locations for people,
That's
and I
super
hope you're
cool.
excited
Locations
to
are
see
gonna
more
break.
for
This is
Into
gonna break the
Inklands.
meta, or
We'll
at least
have
drastically change
new
the
card
meta.
reveals pretty soon. But thanks everyone again. This is great. And thank you,
Thanks,
Steve,
everyone.
of course.
Cool. All right.